Uh, Here we have the procerus muscle. Okay, the procerus muscle. That's the one that gives you the lines that you see between your eyes if you ever frown or whatnot. That's what causes it. It's called the procerus muscle. Okay, this muscle right here, which helps flare your nostrils. Flaring means to basically open it up. Yeah, this is called the nasalis muscle. Again, pretty obvious name to a muscle. So this is called procerus. This is called nasalis. This one right here is called orbicularis oculi. Again, it's called orbicularis oculi. Okay, orbicularis meaning to orbit. So the muscle goes around, it orbits the oculi, eye. Oculi means eye. So orbicularis oculi. The one that goes around the mouth that allows you to kiss, it allows you the puckering of the lips, okay, is called the orbicularis, because it orbits. Orbicularis oris. So this is called the orbicularis oris. Okay, orbicularis oculi, orbicularis oris. Next, we have this muscle right here. What they did was they cut it. Okay, so they had to cut the muscle for you to see it a little bit better, to see the muscles deeper a little bit better. So this right here is going to be called the levator, because it elevates, labii, because it attaches to the lips, superioris, because it's superior to the mouth. It's called levator labii superioris. This one down here goes to the inferior part of the lips. So this is called depressor, because it's going to cause the lip to go down. Depressor labii, because remember we learned in the early part of the semester, labii, labia means lips. Depressor labii inferioris, because it's inferior to the mouth. So levator labii superioris, depressor labii inferioris. Next, we have this muscle right here, which comes from the zygomatic arch, and we have a larger one and we have a smaller one. This larger one right here is going to be known as the zygomaticus or zygomatic major, and the smaller one is going to be the zygomatic minor. So zygomatic major and zygomatic minor. Next, one of the things that I don't like that they did about this model was that they added an artery right on top of a muscle, so it makes it a little bit harder for people who are first learning to actually differentiate the muscle behind it. But just be aware of it, that there's a red artery right on top of that muscle. But that muscle right there goes to the angle of the mouth. And the angle of the mouth is going to be right here. Okay, so this is the angle of the mouth. Okay, so this muscle that goes to the angle of the mouth, this one right here, is called levator, because it causes elevation, anguli, because it goes to the angle of the mouth, oris. Levator anguli oris. Well, if there's a levator anguli oris, there's probably a depressor anguli oris. And the depressor anguli oris is this muscle right here. So levator anguli oris, depressor anguli oris. So everybody got that? Okay. Next, we have this muscle that runs anterior to posterior right here, and that's how you differentiate muscles. You differentiate muscles based upon the direction of their fibers. So if the fibers run in the same direction, it's probably the same muscle. If fibers run in a different direction, it means it's probably a different muscle. So this muscle right here that has its fibers run anterior to posterior is going to be known as risorius. Okay, so what's it called?
Risorius.
Very good. Now this muscle right here, okay, this muscle right here is called the masseter. This is the second muscle of mastication we've discussed. The first one was this muscle right here, which is called the temporalis. The second muscle of mastication is this one right here, which is called the masseter. Okay, this is called the masseter. So if you've ever seen a horse chew, you'll see their massive masseter. It is the same one we do. Okay, so that's the masseter muscle. Next, as we said before, here's the masseter, here's risorius, and here is the zygomaticus major and minor. There's a muscle that's tucked right in between there, and the name of that muscle right there is going to be called the buccinator. Okay? Well, some people also pronounce it buccinator, so I don't really care about which way you pronounce it, but that's called the buccinator or buccinator. Okay? Next, we have a muscle that's found on the chin. That allows for the wrinkling of the chin. Some of us can do it, some of us can't. Okay, you can all see it in me. That's called the mentalis muscle. Does everybody see why memorizing those bones was so important, those parts of bones? It now makes this a little bit easier. So this right here again is called the mentalis. If we look on the posterior side, and this is really we're getting toward the tail end of it. This right here, if we remove this muscle right here, which again is trapezius, and I'm removing deltoid, okay? So here we have the rhomboid minor, smaller, and the larger one is called rhomboid major. And you'll notice that it's attached to the medial border of the scapula. So it allows you to move your scapula medially that way. So this is rhomboid major, rhomboid minor. This, as you know, is the spine of the scapula. So the muscle above the spine of the scapula is called supraspinatus muscle, and the one below it is called infraspinatus muscle. So here we have the rhomboid minor, rhomboid major, supraspinatus muscle, infraspinatus muscle.